Okay, good afternoon. Hope you're doing well on this Wednesday afternoon. We're going to do a Rashi from the fourth Aliyah in Parshas Emor, the very beginning of this Aliyah. It's an interesting Rashi, very short one, but I think a meaningful one. This is the beginning of what we call Parshas HaMoados, the section of the Torah that speaks about the holidays. We read this on Yontif, and this is one of the main sections of the Torah that describes each of the Yamim Tovim that we have in our calendar. Of course, Parshas Pinchas is also quite an important passage about the Moedim, but that's more about the Korbanos. Here we're more just describing the nature of each of the holidays. It's also the place, the most elaborate description of Sfiras HaOmer, the connection between Pesach and Shavuos, and a lot of the things that are coming up in our calendar or that we're living through right now in our calendar. So it's not only Parshas HaShavua, but it's a parsha that's specifically relevant to us at this time of year. So the parsha begins with Hashem speaking to Moshe, saying, Daber el b'nei Yisrael v'amarta lehem, speak to the Jewish people and say to them, Moadei Hashem, the holidays of God, Asher tikru ata mikrei kodesh, that you should declare them to be holy convocations, Elahem moadai, these are the holidays. It's a complicated pasuk. I don't mean to gloss over the details. There's a lot one could say. It's not in Rashi here, so we're not going to address it today. But there's a lot of questions about how to read this pasuk and how the various sections of the pasuk are split up, the redundancies in the pasuk, right? If it's Moadei Hashem, so why did it say Elahem moadai? If it's already Moadei Hashem, why is it Asher Tikru Ata Mikrei Kodesh? Why is it our responsibility to call them something, Mikrei Kodesh? What is a Mikra Kodesh? What is a holy convocation? That's usually how that word is. Those words are translated in various translations of the Torah. But what is a holy convocation? What is a Mikra Kodesh? Many interpretations of what exactly that means. But Rashi addresses a more specific question here, which I think most people wouldn't even notice. And that is the fact that the Moedim are established, of course, based on the calendar. And the calendar is established by the Kiddush HaChodesh, the ability to sanctify each of the months. And the sanctification of the months is connected to another topic called Ibur Shana, the idea that we had this year of adding a month to the calendar for a variety of different reasons described by the Gemara. And by adding a month to the calendar, we actually call it a leap year, and we delay the sequence of the Moedim. So all of the Moedim was, we know already from Parshas Bo, the idea of Kiddush HaChodesh, sanctifying the moon, declaring the calendar, that is very much in the hands of the Jewish people, and we partner with God in doing that in the most elaborate of ways. This is the main difference. The Gemara elaborates on this. The Rav has a beautiful essay on this, the difference between Shabbos and Yontif. Shabbos, as the Gemara in Beitza says, is Kviya V'Kaima. It's established already. It's sanctified already from Yemei Bereshis by HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Whereas the Moedim, the holidays of the Jewish calendar, are not Kviya V'Kaima. They're sanctified and declared by the Jewish people. It's a tremendous power that HaKadosh Baruch Hu grants to human beings to declare the timing of the Moedim. When we had, let's say, this year, Ibur Shana, not only is every month, now we have a set calendar, but in the time when they were doing Kiddush HaChodesh, not only is every month either going to be a day earlier or a day later, depending on the sighting of the moon and the declaration of the Chodesh, but also every year will be a different, sequence, depending if it's an Ibur Shana or not, if they add a month to the year or not. So this year, for example, I had this very jarring feeling when we sat on Purim Day on Adar Sheni. We celebrate Purim in Adar Sheni. So this year on Purim, we're sitting and eating, and you realize that really, according to the main calendar, without the Ibur Shana, it wouldn't have been the 14th and 15th of Adar Sheni. It was really supposed to be the 14th and 15th of Nisan, which means when you're snacking on your Hamantash and Motzei Purim of this year of Ibur Shana, you technically, according to the strict reading of the calendar, the way the months are supposed to go, it should have been Pesach. Should have been violating an Isser Kares of eating chametz. But yet, because of the power of us being able to declare the calendar, being able to decide how many days in a month, being able to decide whether to add a month to the year or not, we've been able to declare ourselves when the Moedim are supposed to fall. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu grants and seeds that power to human beings to be able to declare, okay, this is the correct date of Pesach. This is the correct date of Sukkot. Even the Torah that tells us to celebrate Pesach on the 15th of Nisan, we decide when the 15th of Nisan actually takes place, the power granted to us. But as Rashi notices here in the pasuk, it's very easy to miss, the power of declaring the months is a power associated with Beis Din, with the Jewish court. So when it comes to the declaration of the Moedim, the declaration of the holidays, which is really decided by the declaration of the calendar, why is this command being addressed El Bnei Yisrael, to the totality of the Jewish people, when really it's a mitzvah incumbent upon the Beis Din? I understand why the Hashem had to teach Moshe what the halacha was, but the people that carry it out were going to be the Beis Din. So why does Moshe have to declare this before all Israel? The fact that they have to declare the holidays to call them Mikrei Kodesh. So Rashi says over here, Asa Moedos Shiyu Bahem Yisrael. This is actually there's different girsas in Rashi. It's interesting which one the Al HaTorah website has here, Melamdim or Melumadim or Melamed. But in the end of the day, Rashi says the same thing. Melamed Shema Abrin Es Hashana Al Galuyos Shenakru Mimakoman Lalos Laragel. The reason why Bnei Israel are mentioned here in the context of a mitzvah, which really has more to do with Beis Din, is to teach us that the Beis Din is allowed to delay the calendar. They're allowed to add a month to the calendar in order to ensure that Bnei Israel, who are way out in Galus, way out in exile, are able to make it for Aliyah L'Regel in time for Pesach. That's an incredible thing. Daber o Bnei Israel. Tell this mitzvah of Mikra Kodesh, of declaring the Moed, tell it to all of Bnei Israel, because all of Bnei Israel are integral to the celebration of a Moed. If the calendar is declared and the Moed is declared and Pesach, let's say, is celebrated on such and such a date in the Beis HaMikdash, but half the Jewish people from the diaspora are not able to make it, it's not a full celebration of the Moed. The Moedim belong El Bnei Israel to all of the Jewish people. And all of the Jewish people's presence is integral to the celebration and the declaration of that date. And therefore, the command is given not just narrowly to Beis Din, it's given to everybody. Beautiful way to understand the nature of the holidays, the connection of the Jewish people, and how integral it is that we gather together as much as possible to be able to celebrate them, since that's part of what the Moed is all about. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day.
Thank you, Rabbi, everybody.
Have a good day, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rabbi.